I don't know if I've ever tried dots.
All
Oh, are those
right.
like the
Uh,
they kind of have like a cone shape to them, don't they?
Yeah.
so just
Yeah,
keep
those are
keep
awesome.
shooting the shit here for a second. I'm starting up the stream right now. Wait a couple minutes till we really get
Gummy
going in
bears in
this.
general are pretty good. Some can be not so good though.
Yeah, I like the Black Forest ones the most, probably.
Are you do you guys prefer regular M&Ms or peanut butter M&Ms?
Ah,
I
that's tough.
prefer
I
I
don't know.
prefer the peanut M&Ms more.
I prefer the regular for sure,
I
even though I like both.
I used to really like the regulars, and I mean I still do. Like whenever I'm eating trail mix, um, I always dig the M&Ms with that. But no, the peanut M&Ms, like you get more bang for your buck with those, dude. And I love
What
peanut
about
peanuts
Reese's
in general.
Pieces? They're essentially the same thing, aren't they, with the peanut
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of.
Yeah, I love those. That's my
big
favorite movie
fucking
snack.
cab, Scott. Welcome, guys.
Now and
I never
laters,
see more
those are good.
bigs.
I love now and laters. You guys try those?
I don't think I have actually.
Oh man,
Seen them for sale.
pretty
Never
good
tried them
actually.
though.
I used to get them on Halloween. That's like the only time I'd ever get them. It's just from Halloween.
is
Is your
is
mic in
your
the
mic in
opposite
the
direction?
opposite, RJ?
That's not the mic I'm using, bud.
Oh,
Oh, got him. I was about to say he's got the
I'm just
attachment.
talking into the butt of the mic. I want to move this out
He
of the
wants
way.
it to sound like he's across the room. Build more
Now my
suspense while we're
keyboard's
talking.
just completely sideways. Ring pops.
he's got to get the reverb.
Well, before we get started today, guys, just wanted to give you all a heads up. Plop, aka Jacob, and Lorcan will not,
AKA Lorcan.
aka Lorcan, yes, they will not be joining us, unfortunately, for this podcast. Lorcan wasn't feeling too hot, and Jacob had some other plans to attend, unfortunately. We were trying to plan this a little bit later to try to get him able to come onto the podcast, but that just that wasn't really the scenario that we could get. Turn you up a little bit. Is it a little quiet?
Apparently for Scott. So
You guys is in?
just
We
want
got
it to
the
sound
trio
good.
for you today.
Yeah, big tree.
Yeah. I'll just turn up the audio for both of you guys, just in general, because hopefully
Where is Zach's face cam? I don't know. Ask him.
Zach,
It's
where's
in
the
my
face?
laptop, and it's from like 1930. Don't want to see that.
Alan Turing's first computer.
Zach was saying that it would be like 1 frame per second if he was streaming his face on his
It is
laptop.
really awful. I need to buy a new webcam. I want to stream Facecam and Rising. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Poggers.
Yeah,
I think I will.
you should have a build stream where it's literally only your face on on the screen for the entire time, just nothing else.
I
They
like
don't
the
even
thought of
show
that.
you don't show any
Do it like a
gameplay.
vintage Lulzmon stream where it's zoomed in really far.
The eye cam, dude.
Yeah, love those.
You can do some actual eye tracking, maybe with with that kind of setup. That'd be sweet.
That might be cool for building, actually. Do an eye tracker.
Oh, you got what was that other headset? You got Turtle Beaches? Something else over there?
Uh, that's like something I found in the trash.
Ah,
It's probably like $10. Surprisingly sturdy, but it's like way too tight and not comfortable at all.
mm-hmm.
That's honestly like a good reason why I'd end my streams short a lot of the times, because it'd just be painful.
Yeah, my old
Gotcha.
set used to crush my head, give me
Yeah.
a headache after an hour or less.
So
Now I got these Cloud 2s.
so in the box below me, for this episode, you guys, we will be sharing some of our favorite runs overall in Fusion history. And that is what the box below us is going to be used for. We'll be going through and talking about the favorites, and we'll just keep rambling on as we watch some of these replays. And if I cough a lot during the stream, I apologize. I actually haven't been feeling so hot myself today. Um,
You look hot.
He does.
Zach, don't tempt me with a good time now, all right? But yeah, I've been working with the kids at the new job, and it's just a cesspool for diseases. So yeah, I'm starting to feel it nowadays. But we're gonna power through this, and we're gonna get to some in memory of fusion. Basically, will be, I think the gist of this podcast is to go over kind of our favorite times, and just talk to Zach about Zach things, Zach building stuff. So
Just all around. Yeah.
all around, Zach. Or first of all, let's start us off by saying hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the Charles Talk number 5. We are here with Zach. That's 6 Z's. Don't forget it.
Hey there.
Possibly 7.
Yeah,
You could
don't
be either one.
don't you
never know.
don't you screw it up ever. All right, Zach will find you, and he'll build you a house. All right, just from pure passion. Okay,
Yeah, that's my threat.
because this man is by far one of the best builders in the Trials community, and I want to hear your thoughts on just like building in general, Zach. You seem like a man of few words in the stream, but I know that you have a lot to say and a lot to provide for this community. And I just gotta say it again. I really appreciate you building tracks. It's so important for the community. And I was actually talking to Zach earlier, but Zach is the one that really got me into, I think, playing ninja tracks, because I would see YouTube videos a long time ago of people passing his level 1, level 2 like ninja tracks, and I thought that they were way better than like the actual game itself. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. But yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Zach.
Well, I'm Zach with 6 Z's or 7, depending on where you see me at. And I'm 26 from North Carolina, and I like building stuff
Zach, are you single?
in trials. Yes, I am. So any dudes out
Yeah,
there, yeah, let's get it going.
I already got Zach's number. Nobody can steal him from me. He's mine.
Yeah. Well, I asked Doughnut to marry me not long ago, and I think that's happening. Not sure, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, I thought we were gonna keep that on the down low for a little bit longer. This is our
No,
secret.
I just made it public.
Damn it! All right, the bat, the squirrel is out of the cage here. All right, guess that's happening. But yeah, Zach, I got some questions to break down with you.
Sure.
So, when did you start building?
Well, I started playing Evo, I think, about 8 months before Fusion came out, which was kind of late because I had been looking at getting it for a while, and I didn't want to because I had watched some photos and videos on YouTube of different user tracks, and I didn't know that you could actually make those in the editor. I thought they were career tracks. So then I started playing, and I realized they were actually user-made stuff, which was crazy to me, and then I didn't start building for a while because I had this stupid mentality that, okay, I don't want to put all this time into making like a 2D game, a 2D track, which was obviously stupid at the time. And then eventually I just got into it and I couldn't stop. That's pretty much how it went. It took me like 3 hours to build a wood platform. And then I built a waterfall in the background. And it kind of snowballed from that point on. So yeah, I didn't realize how deep it was. Like, because as soon as I saw that I could do anything with it, that's just pretty much
That's the
when I got
thing.
into it.
That's the thing about Fusion for me is like I had been playing it ever since HD, right? And I didn't really know about user created stuff in it HD or even Evo. I think I played HD even more than Evo, to be honest with you guys. But like how I think one of the main questions is like how do you get people to realize like how much depth there is to this game? I know it takes a little bit of effort on, their own part to like go in and either watch YouTube videos or to like try to get into the editor and just build something for the first time. But so was building like a really big occasion for you? Like, is that the one? Was that the turning point that like made you get into trials even more?
Yeah, absolutely. I never would have kept playing it, and I definitely wouldn't be playing it now if I didn't build or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because right when I started with two of my other friends, and well, kind of embarrassing to say, but right off the bat, we went into multiplayer, and we were doing the extreme tracks with the Roach, which I think is the Scorpion in Evo, and we were trying, God, what's the name of the first extreme track in that game?
Oh
Oh yeah,
god,
Truth is out there.
remember?
We were trying that, and we were on the first checkpoint for like an hour, but anyway, that's beside the point. They stopped playing like a couple weeks after, and I kept going because that's around the time that I started the editor, and I was a little bit bored of the game at that point myself,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I started. So yeah, like as soon as I got something going, as soon as I started to memorize where the objects were and everything like that, then it snowballed from there, and
How
I never really stopped.
how long did it like really take you to maybe feel comfortable with the editor?
Ah, I want to say a couple weeks at least because I'd say for anyone starting, including myself, the hardest part of the editor is memorizing where everything is. Like you want to make something, but you're searching through the categories and you can't find what you
I
want,
still
and then
don't know.
eventually, yeah. And that's what was demotivating for me is that it just took me forever to make what I wanted, and yeah. So I think that for anyone starting, the best advice I could give would be to just try it yourself. It can only come from experience. There's no other way to do it.
It just takes a lot of practice and testing it out. Absolutely, I agree with that. And
Yeah.
for me personally, I feel like I'm a novice when it comes to track building, and I've been trying to create these really hard checkpoints for myself with only the front wheel shenanigan track, and I'm starting to realize just how ridiculous it is right now to try and create. And I think I need
It's intimidating.
I think I need to
Very
start
intimidating.
smaller. I need to be able to like upload obstacles that I can do more consistently, not just it's more of a passion project that I'm working on right before Rising release is just trying to get into the editor more and to get used to it, get comfortable
Yeah.
with it. Um, but going back to kind of that snowball effect of like of just building and getting into it, what would you say you like more? Do you like building or do you like writing more? Or was there ever a time when that perspective maybe changed?
It's 100% building for me over writing because I get really frustrated when I'm writing. I get frustrated incredibly easily. I might not show it sometimes, but if I'm on a track and a checkpoint annoys me for two faults, then I get pissed really easily.
Mm-hmm.
So taking a break from that and getting in the editor, it's just I love it because it's just relaxing. You can listen to music. You can pretty much make whatever idea you have come to life, and I just love it. I just think every second of it is just this perfect, relaxing thing you can do whenever you want, and
Mm.
I don't know, just the freedom of it is just there's nothing else like it, and that's kind of a cringy or cliche thing to say, but I really like it. Nothing else like it in a game. So
I like that much more relaxed kind of nature that building has because I have gotten burnt out on playing some tracks, and I do like to take a step back and try to work on my own stuff in my off time. And I don't really want to stream myself building quite yet because it's still a really slow process, and I'm still working all the kinks out.
yeah.
Um, Zach, did you know anybody that has like or that had really good editor streams?
I know Jamaican did. I like watching him a lot when he
That's
had the
how I
mic.
found him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
basically, what got me into the Trials community back in the day, it was
Uh,
his streams.
yeah, Jamaican and also Trav. He always talks shit about how good his editor streams are. He says no one wants to watch that, but I like watching him a lot, mostly because I'm pretty good friends with him. But
I like it too, actually,
Yeah,
but not for that reason.
yeah.
I like watching pretty much anyone as long as they're making a track that they're putting a lot of effort into it. The same goes for writing. I like watching someone put a lot of time into passing something, so if they've been grinding for a pass or a zero for months, then I love watching that for when they finally get it. And same goes for building,
One
when
of
they finally finish.
one of the most gratifying feelings after you grind out a track or are building a track for that period of time. It really
Yeah,
shows the passion for the game. Definitely.
absolutely does.
Um. So, oh yeah, you went over kind of advice for people building their tracks for their first time. How about what's your process with building, Zach? I know you sent me a pretty good message back. I asked you about this actually a while ago. I was hitting Zach up with the DMs, just getting all the insider deets. But
Oh yeah,
like, what do you
extensive
do?
conversation. Well, I pretty much get an idea in my head, or an image, I should say, is less of an idea, and it never turns out exactly how I want it. I'll say that right now. But I'll get an image for basically focal points, I guess, to put on the track, and then I'll put those focal points and then just try to bridge the gap in between. So I'll
Mm,
have, say, a castle on CP4, and then I'll try to figure two other things and then just bridge the gap from the beginning and then just put it in between and try and make it fit the theme. So I try to not take influence from things as much as I can, but usually the only thing I use references for is environment settings. Like, say I want an evening sky. I have trouble coming up with that on my own, so I'll go on Google Images and search evening sky and just copy the sky box more or less, stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much how every one of them starts. And it's funny because I know exactly how I want something to look in my head, but the finished product is nowhere near it. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it turns out. It's just nowhere close, which is strange, but there's only so much you can do with the fusion objects, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited for Rising, because
yeah,
you'll be able to, I think, print an image in your head a lot easier in the game than
Yeah.
yeah. We
be
can
stuck to two castle pieces.
yeah we can get like decals and like stickers and stuff
Exactly.
onto the driving line now. Not just
That'd
on
be
the
great.
bike and the rider, which is pretty cool. And then of course scaling. I don't know, like all objects. That's going to be a really big game changer as well. Definitely.
Hmm.
Um. So, in general, how much time do you think goes into the decoration compared to the driving line for you?
Uh, it's a lot because for me, there's a little bit of thought, but there's not that much thought in driving line decoration because there's not, well, one of the things that can make a track a lot more time consuming is if you try to make the driving line decoration make sense. And what I mean by
Yeah.
that is, say you're driving, like you could just pile, garbage together and then you can drive on that, or you can make it actually make sense in relation to the track. Like,
That's why I always like when Cabbage throws down like 4,000 bombs in his tracks, it like makes more sense than just having bombs on the driving line. So I've always liked that.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like say you're playing an industrial track and instead of driving on like a bunch of stacked plates or a bunch of stacked barrels, you're driving on like an air conditioning unit or something like that, and then you make the air conditioning unit look custom and different and not using any of the default objects or anything like that. That's when it starts to get time consuming. But for me, I'd say overall it's mostly background stuff that I put all the time into because I think that's the main focal point. I don't look at the driving lane decoration personally as much as the background stuff. So
If I
that's
remember
what I like to try.
I remember correctly from what you messaged me, is that you like to make the decoration first and you build it around like the background, basically your driving line.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't do that always. I used to build one CP and then decorate it and then build another CP and then decorate it. And I
Mm,
actually changed that because I saw the Jamaican did what you just described. He would build the whole driving line first and then he would decorate around it. And I like that a lot more. I think it lets you shape everything a lot better
yeah.
from the start instead of, because then you're building an uphill track and you're like, okay, well this is getting awkward. I better make the next CP flat, and then that influences the driving line, right?
Mm.
So I think it's best just to do whatever you want and then decorate around it because that gives you a lot more freedom as far as obstacles go and decoration. So I think it's all around better.
Take notes, you guys. Zach is definitely one of the best builders out there. So he
Aw.
definitely answered a lot of questions regarding. Dude, much love to Zach. Much
Much
love,
love to
man.
you from me.
So in general, like, what do you think is the importance to building tracks, and why? Like, I know we've probably discussed this before. Like, we wouldn't have probably this community around for that long if we didn't have Track Central at all. But I just want to hear your thoughts on, like, just how important is it to you to build tracks, and what would you what would you say to somebody if they hadn't built a track ever?
I think it's really important because I'm gonna say that, I mean, this might come as a surprise, but I don't think you need any decoration at all to make a good track. I've
Same.
played plenty of tracks that are just floating garbage that have really good driving lines, and I've gone back and played a lot of times. So I think that even if you're not a creative person visually, but you enjoy playing the game, that it's important that you should build. And I think it makes the game, I want to
Hmm.
say, 1,000 times more fun just to sit around in the editor every once in a while and build stuff, because then you have another, it's an entirely new aspect to the game that I think a lot of people are missing out on because they just think that they're not creative or they choose not to build. So I would say just go make a driving line, and if you feel like decorating, then do it. I think it's something you should do only if you enjoy it, decorating,
Yeah,
because I don't think it's important really to have I mean, it's nice. I do think it makes the track more memorable, and that makes me go back to it more personally if it's
yeah, I
decorated.
feel the exact same way
But
with that.
yeah,
It's like at the beginning
but
of when I first started playing Track Central, um, I'd play through whatever, even if it was an abyss black background. I'd
hmm
still really enjoy it
Abyss.
if it had like a really insane driving line for myself. If it was challenging me, then that was more the situation. But nowadays, after playing through, gosh, I don't even know, maybe 1 to 2,000 tracks. I don't know where how many exactly. That'd be a really interesting statistic to see. But I will go back to the tracks that have really nice decoration, and I've favorited a lot of the builders that I know have created these masterpieces in my mind. That you just have hours upon hours of replayability for.
yeah, it adds a completely different element to the experience of playing it, because if you're not an artistic person and you're looking around on the track, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're someone who builds, then you can look, oh, cool. That's something I never would have come up with. Building like an air conditioning unit, like I said, that's something that you never would have come up yourself. Seeing someone else do it,
Hey, sorry,
I think that's
give
really interesting.
me 1 second. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
But yeah, I just like seeing other people do stuff that I never would have come up with myself, and that's one of the things that I like about decoration myself, or going back to playing well decorated tracks, whether they be speed runs or ninjas. It doesn't really matter.
How often do you take inspiration from other people's building, or do you try and be as original as possible when you're
I
making a track?
try I try and be as original as possible, but every once in a while I'll see someone do something so cool, and then I won't just copy it because I kind of hate the idea of copying something object for object, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just take that and I'll try and make my own version of it, more or less. So every once in a while I do. Try to keep that to a minimum, though.
I loved your idea for the track within slash inside the easier version, Zach. And
Well, thank you.
I
Appreciate it.
I mean, because it's a game. Inside is an indie game. If anybody doesn't know that, it's the creators of Limbo. You guys remember that one as well? It's kind of a
hmm
horror platformer, puzzle like adventure type of experience. And Zach just he hit it right on the dot with the decoration and whatnot. Like it, dude. Like the checkpoints having what the secret orbs, whatever those things were.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like those minute details, man. It really makes or breaks tracks. Like just that amount of detail is just insane. And I I've been thinking about so many other types of games that we could relate to um to tracks. I don't know if you have any other ideas for Rising, Zach. Would you be willing to lay one down for us if you have another like game decoration concept in the works?
I have a lot of them written down.
Hmm.
Well, not even just game related. I have a lot of themes written down in general, but I think that the best game decoration for me personally would be Little Nightmares. Don't know if you played it or heard of it,
Oh
but it's
yeah,
pretty similar to Inside, and I
I've
love,
heard of that.
absolutely love the atmosphere of that game. So I really want to make a theme based on that.
Pop
And
that up on stream, Josh.
I
and
would
yes,
love to
Vinji,
see
I
that.
will.
Pop
Absolutely.
the Little Nightmares on stream.
Yeah, like an image.
Yeah.
Oh damn, this actually looks wild.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
me
but that's one of the reasons I chose
have it on the YouTube
Inside
video.
as a theme because of how atmospheric the game is. It relies completely on the game's atmosphere because there's no dialogue in the game, and I love that. I think it's great. Had to give that one the old pick.
I'll show you guys the let's do the launch trailer. Let me get this set up for it. Whoops.
Yeah, it's definitely more colorful than Inside, but it's still gloomy, a little bit different.
I love the art style.
Yeah, it's awesome. The lighting is the
Yeah.
feature of that game, in my opinion. Very good.
Let me know. Do you guys see this all right? I think I cropped it decently. I think it should be showing just the screen for it.
Yeah, neither one of the games we're talking about has anything on World Enduro Rally, though.
You know what? That reminds me. I actually just downloaded that recently since Cab was telling me, and I looked up a video of World Enduro Rally. I'm gonna do a stream of that before Rising. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That game
Do it after
cracked.
Rising, too.
Yeah, that
It's
game
gonna replace it.
cracked me up, man. I call it bootleg trials. But yeah, this is Little Nightmares. This is the same kind of vibe. Definitely that Limbo and Inside. Yeah, like these giant corridors. Really creepy horror scenarios. Kind of
great.
like a Silent Hill theme to it almost.
Perfect atmosphere
Yeah.
in all those games. Really perfect. Lot to take influence from.
Hmm.
I have a question for you, Zach.
Yeah.
How often do you mess around with like music or sound in the editor?
Music, I always turned it off. The first couple tracks I made, I tried to put fusion music on, and then after that, I realized that fusion music was shit. And I was like, okay, well, never want to use this again. So I just turned it off now. But as far as sound goes, I'll usually try and pick like a grove sound effect or a windy sound effect and put that to cover an area. And then here and there, maybe near a pond, I'll put a frog or something. But usually I don't put more than 5 or 6 sound tiles on a track. So not that much. I do like to turn them down though, so it doesn't turn into a muscles track with 200% volume on the wind.
Muscles doesn't have any
So
volume, man. He doesn't know
yeah,
what he's dealing with there.
not talking shit about muscles. I love his tracks, but yeah, the sound on those has got to go.
But the
I
man,
gotta rip my monitor out of the
he's
wall
questionably
sometimes on
deaf,
those.
maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, he might be. Never know. No, I've talked to him. He's not.
Oh, Ben in the chat, Mr. Zintax was saying a Simpsons hit and run track. That was one of my all-time favorite games back in the day. That would be such a cool
That'd be
track.
a cool theme.
Yeah, that'd be a really good theme.
Yeah.
Unless you get, somehow like copyright striked like on Red Legs. I don't think that'd be the case.
Make it that accurate. Let it get copyright strike.
Yeah, if it gets copyrighted, that'd be
Get
pretty
Red Link
gnarly.
sued for user content.
Yeah. But since we have these videos playing, you guys, let's say we hop into some of our all-time favorite fusion runs. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. You
I
want
like the sound of that.
Yeah, I'll start it off. Start it off with mine. So, you guys probably already know, "Dreary Night" is like one of my all-time favorite tracks, pretty much ever. The first time I saw this, it was Frag's run, and I was just absolutely blown away by the sheer amount of like weird obstacles that were introduced on this track, and playing through it, it was really difficult to get down at first, but it's I'll just let the run speak for itself. I think it's only a couple minutes, or it's like 3.5. Yeah, this run, it makes me want to create like these really strange obstacles that I don't know. It's like it's reworking the wheel. I've said that multiple times about how there's no limit to the amount of times. Oh, this isn't the zero fault run. Whoops.
Oh no.
Oh no. I thought that was a zero
Speaking
fault.
of weird obstacles, I'm wondering
Sorry,
how
guys.
well rails and stuff are going to work on Rising.
Where was it?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know.
I think
Front
I
wheel
mean,
also,
think
but
it's this one.
Maiden already proved that in Fusion.
I feel like bars, there shouldn't be anything in the way of those working that I can think of.
Yeah, never know.
Yeah, this is okay. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, this is the zero fault. Yeah, I don't. I wasn't really a fan of like monkey bars to begin with, but like after playing some of I think Lolzman's has a ton of monkey bars in his, and then this one, dude, it definitely changes your perspective on like what is capable in this game.
If they're done well,
Yeah,
they're actually really good obstacles, I think.
yeah. Like it doesn't seem very consistent at first. Like at the first glance of trying this track, you think, no way, like a zero fault, come on. But we have frags. I think this was back in beginning of 2018. At least when the Rayon replay of this came out. But yeah, man, it is quite a sight to behold. That one.
Wonder how long that took him.
That'd be a great question. I'd love to ask him about that.
Yeah, curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty crazy.
I think
you want to say your favorite run that you've got yourself, if you
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah, my favorite run I've
Pull that up too afterwards.
I've got for myself would probably be my Makalu run. Since that's been the hardest track I think I've ever passed. Nothing too special except, just just the sheer pass of that. And I ended up doing a commentary and I had quite a bit to say of just kind of the philosophy behind going into a track and playing it for such an extended amount of time. It really mentally drains you, but it's so important in this game to be able to come out and say, yeah, I stuck with it and I actually passed something. Like I had enough determination to do it, and that's that is a lot to say with it. We'll only run this. Let's see. Let's do like the last like couple minutes of it, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Do you have volume?
That goes back to what I was saying about things I enjoy watching. I loved watching that grind for when you passed it. I think that was really satisfying. From a viewer's standpoint, too. It's cool.
Zach, did you see Trav when he passed within? Like, were you there?
I did, yeah. Actually,
that was pretty insane.
I might be getting him confused with Cole. I'm pretty sure I was there. I don't remember exactly. I think my memory's going. Getting old.
You know why? This I was able to pass this is I think this is my favorite rider I've ever created on trials. I think my rider was the best look I had. I usually go with the Rayman look. But yeah, this pass basically and then my reaction basically in the commentary I just talked about like this was a month in the works. Maybe a little bit over a month in the works for it. But dude, yeah, it's just God, it's hard. It was hard for me to like imagine myself beating this track when I first started it. And I thought I had a chance because I got through it halfway on my first try. I was like, "Oh, yeah, this isn't so bad." And then and then you get to the second half and it's like, "Okay, I understand what's happening now." This is a sheer test of attrition with this track and getting as consistent as you possibly can. as much as you possibly can, and that was the hardest part for me. Getting consistent, man. That's the main thing. Once you reach, I think Ninja Fives for me, consistency and key.
Yep. Only gets more about consistency as you go up the levels.
And endurance too, because it becomes a lot more mentally draining.
Yeah. All right. So you guys want to move on to the next one? You want to go to Resident Evil?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Zach can talk about this one a little bit more. This was his pick, and as well as Lorcan. Actually, Lorcan decided that this was one of his all-time favorites as well. So take it away. Why was this run just a standout one for you, Zach?
Well, there's been a few times, or yeah, very few times, where I've been in complete disbelief in something that showed up in my subscription box because he didn't put 0 in the title. So I clicked on it, I was like, okay, maybe he got like 3 faults or something, and then you click on it, and then he's just going through a 0. And
Yeah,
I
he's
was
like,
just
wait a
in
second,
disbelief.
is he gonna fail? Like, what is happening here?
Right, that was exactly what I was thinking, and it's just insane. Like, there's very few trials videos that I've been genuinely surprised at either showing up in my sub box or watching, and that's one of them for sure. I think that's at the top for me, actually, just because I don't know. I've watched it so many times. That's one of the few trials videos I've actually gone back to.
Yeah, I think I've watched
It's
this
just
one
insane. Just insane. That's the only word for it,
2
really.
times. Yeah, I watched this on stream, and
Funny
I
track as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Great track by Trav. Shout out.
What made this so just unbelievable for you at the time when you watched it? Like, was this just like one of the hardest level 5s that you knew of at the time?
It's mostly because I played it myself, and I struggled a lot. I remember
Yeah.
I was up at 6 a.m. one morning for whatever reason. I was streaming it, and I had struggled and struggled and struggled until I eventually passed CP2. Then I got stuck on CP6, and then I got destroyed by CP6, and then I eventually passed it with some god-awful score. Don't even remember what it was.
But a
And
pass is a
like,
pass. A pass is a
right, I
pass for your first
eventually
time.
got it, and then to see him 0 it like that, that's what really blew my mind, is because that's one of the few 5s that I've actually grinded and put time into
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And yeah, just to see him do it that effortlessly was absolutely insane to me. And I think, bias aside, it's just objectively such an insane 0. Just getting past 6 on 0 to me is just mind blowing because of that curve at the end and how long the checkpoint is.
Mm-hmm.
Just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Do you,
Only word for it.
do you know when Trav made this? Trav made this track?
I don't. My trials time frames completely messed up. I can't remember when anything happened, to be honest with you.
So was this around like the time, because he made Leviathan as well? That was another really good level 5 that Trav created.
He put a lot of time into it. I do know that, and I think it's his best looking track, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Yeah,
I
That's
think
why
that's
I made
safe
a
to
track
say.
after it, inspired by it.
this track,
Yeah.
it just seems it seems really tough to like save on some spots. Like, you don't even get the opportunity to,
Yeah.
which
Definitely.
is that turns into a lot of level 5s. I think that's a majority of them, is that you cannot save some obstacles. You got to do it in one shot, and that's
Yeah.
really
CP6.
like that curve right
CP6
there,
on that track.
the curve at the top of
Very
that one.
scary.
Yeah,
Very scary.
my gosh, it's mesmerizing just to see how
Yes.
consistent it is.
I don't think he's human. That's my theory.
That's why he hasn't shown his face.
Yeah.
Just doesn't even have one.
He's never had a webcam stream.
He's just an entity.
Yeah.
So yeah, just look at this. So this run was back in July 20th, 2017. I mean, still a while ago. Is there anybody else that has come close to getting a 0 fault on this track, or is Peck still number 2 with 27? Like that. This is such a big
was
jump.
a great run at the time. I remember Peck's
Yeah.
run on that track.
Yeah.
This
That
is
was
That
actually,
was
like,
impressive.
praised.
yeah, and this is just still just a significant jump. Like, that's unbelievable even for that time. Like, oh my gosh, there you are, RJ.
It's bananas. Absolutely bananas.
Zach, you're in there too. 140.
Where?
You had 140 faults. 24 minutes 51
Oh
seconds.
yeah, I got destroyed.
I still haven't passed that track though, man. There's too many tracks. There's too many tracks to get to,
It's a good
man.
one to go for. It's a lot of fun.
Gosh.
Like, despite how much I
Too
struggled,
much.
I thought that was a lot of fun to go for. It was actually, I mean, it was
Trap
frustrating.
tracks are worth it.
Yeah, always.
Always.
Yeah.
Especially capsule climb.
Quick capsule climb. Do you have the number 1 spot for that? I might have to
Yeah.
retake your spot. Maybe maybe after
Like
this.
to see you try.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stream some shenanigans on there.
Yeah. Not only my proudest trials achievement, but my proudest life achievement also. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into that run. Slick would know I played it with him.
For anybody that doesn't know, the quick capsule climb is what we like to refer to as a bot build, where it's like a my track. It's a my track, but it's I guess a little more effort, but it's just really they're goofy, a bot build. But Zach, what is your favorite run overall? I'll look it up right now, or of your own run. Sorry.
Oh, I still gotta go with Way of the Machine, Ninja Zero Fault. I think that
is a really good one.
Biz 21. What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't.
No one else has done it.
Yeah,
Not
it's
even
just
one
it's
person.
annoying though. It's an annoying track. I don't like it.
Zach, how long did this run take you to get for the Way of the Machine Ninja?
It actually wasn't that long total. I want to say I played it for about 3 hours total, and that's not counting like back in the day passing it for the first time. I think when I really tried to sit down and zero it, it was about 3 hours. But yeah, I was in the party with Trav actually when I did it, and I was freaking out.
I could
on, like,
imagine.
the last 3 checkpoints. I was, because I get really stressed when I'm on a zero, so knowing how long it would take to get back to the point at the end after the hard checkpoints is just, I was blackout nervous. Actually drove me insane. Actually drove me insane.
I got to that point with Front Wheel God and Makalu where like your hands become numb and you literally like can't feel your hands.
Do you ever get so nervous like you're at the end of a track and then the reason you fault is because you're like trying to escape from where you are on the track, like you're looking around the room, you're starting to focus on things other than the monitor just to stop yourself from that's what I do, and that's why I always choke. I don't know if that's the same for anyone else, but if I had to describe it.
Because you have to turn around, you got to look at the hentai just chilling out on the wall. You have to distract yourself for a second.
Got to get a quick session in real quick.
Mid run.
Yeah. God, I'm really stressed. I need to fix this.
I know when I'm nervous, I get like real finicky with my hands, so I'll like flick the stick like by accident in the middle of my run, and it'll just make me fault. Like that's what'll happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks for me. Like I feel like I need to move around more, but like in a in a sedentary position when you're playing games, like it's just not possible. Like I would I would usually relieve my anxiety and stress and stuff by like actually doing some athletic types of stuff. I'd be running, or I'd be swinging a bet, and that's how I would be able to release energy. And like in this case with playing games and having these runs that like are coming down to the wire, or it's a run that you've been working on for a really long time, yeah, I get this odd feeling in my fingers. Like I seriously cannot feel them. It's like they go cold, like the cold sweats happen.
Yeah,
literally. But that's just something you got to work at, I think, over time. Maybe I should just stand mostly, up. Maybe when I play, maybe I should stand up like Nova.
Nova.
Yeah, and just do it like that instead from now on. Whenever I get nervous on a track,
I think the thing that stresses me out the most is thinking how long it's going to take to get back to that point if I do mess up. Like one small mistake, and then okay, the 40 hours I've grinded this track, or however long it is, I'm going to have to do it again, or more, maybe less. But just the uncertainty of it, just how long it's going to take, that's the worst part. That's what stresses me out the most.
It's real hard to like practice when you're nervous. Like get used to that feeling. Like if you could get used to it or like play well under it, it's just like you can't purposefully go through that. You can't just like, oh, get to the end of the hardest track ever every single
It's
time and
completely
just
different.
see it.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah, it's really dependent on I guess like what you're trying to achieve. Like if you're streaming, like I love
That makes
to
it worse.
like I just love to exclusively play tracks that I can fail and time out and restart on constantly. But when I do finally get to the point where I'm getting to the end, like dude, it just doesn't happen as often. And GG
You
on
seem
that
to
run.
thrive on it.
I think I do a lot better in the chat, which brings me to like a little bit of, actually no, we shouldn't talk about the Fusion Farewell tournament. We'll discuss that, but like I want to reflect on that point where or maybe I don't know, maybe we should talk about it a little bit now, like in between while we're talking of our favorite runs, talk a little bit about the Fusion Farewell. That'd be a nice little transition.
Plop's run right here.
Yeah, during this is so this is Plop's pick. He picked Penny. Little Penny on his Grievous. Grievous run a Ninja level 7. I don't really know what he ended up with total on this, but I know that this track is hard. Is really freaking hard. So
Scott only just passed this like now, and he's passed an 8. Oh, like before 2 8s.
So is this?
I hadn't heard that he did that with one restart until earlier. So congrats, Penny. That's pretty, or Little Penny, I should say.
Little Penny.
It's pretty crazy.
Not really sure what the running joke is with Little Penny. We'll have to confirm with Plop later about that. But I don't know. Does anybody know what he got for the total on this? Was it like?
It was 12 minutes.
12-minute run.
I think it's just sub. I want to say sub 100, but it might be even lower than that.
So it's
still insane.
It's gonna
almost
be
viewable.
It's gonna be like a Cole Sumrak run almost. It's like his run was insane on that.
Oh yeah. You could tell he was feeling it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely feeling on that.
I prefer his plus CP's run, honestly.
Yeah.
With the fail in between the gap.
Yeah.
Talked about that last time.
To the end of CP6 like an Olympics diver. Absolute.
He tried to grief it on
Cole.
purpose.
Yeah.
He just
what happens when you put your dog on the controller at the end of CP.
Oh man.
Never gonna forget that run ever.
Yeah, it's going down in history.
It's in one of my videos on YouTube.
I remember that.
Should we talk about Fusion Farewell then?
Yeah.
This is going?
Yeah, I wanted to go back because we were talking about the pressure and whatnot being on the streamer, the player, wherever you are, and it's such a different scenario when it comes to this tournament. Like I've not been a part of a tournament for trials ever before, because I still feel like I'm fairly new to the scene, compared to RJ, Zach, these legends.
Which is weird because you played longer, like much longer than me, like game wise, but you've been in the community like less time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's weird because I feel like I do thrive off of the Twitch chat. Like while I'm streaming, I feel like I get a little more, I don't know, I feel like I can gain more support like during my run. But that just wasn't, it didn't really feel like the case for me, at least for the first couple of days. I was extremely nervous. I will admit that it was like I was in an isolation chamber, like I was in a white room, going insane and feeling the numbness in my hands as I was trying to perform these tracks that unfortunately on Friday, the first day of the tournament, I didn't really have too much time on. I don't want to make up too many excuses for it, of course, but it was rough for me, just dealing with work related stuff. But But it is what it is, and I'm really glad that I was still able to be a part and to even be able to qualify for such an occasion with the best of the best, basically for this tournament to just be with the community, all people that really enjoy a game that is just so insanely hard to be consistent at, and to try to prove that on stream with 100 plus people basically watching it was really stressful for me. And it was nice during the third day that I was able to, wow, what a finish by Penny. That was a really nice ending. But the third day was a lot better for me because I was actually in a party with Hook, Nova, Grief, a lot of others, like while we were talking and kind of giving each other support. Really helped me out. What did you feel like during it, RJ? I want to hear your thoughts on it more.
I was nervous day one for sure, a lot more than even on like the last day when I was playing for first and I was the last person to go. I was less nervous than day one, and I think it probably makes sense why day one was my worst day as well, even though it was the easiest track, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably get settled in, don't you? You kind of get used to it after a couple days.
Definitely.
Have you ever?
Definitely the first match is the worst.
Have you ever been? You've been in another tournament before, haven't you, RJ?
Yeah, it was Lorcan's, and I won that one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I've been in two before, and the one before.
Didn't you have one like
Lorcan's,
Shane's tournament?
Yeah, yeah, or I don't know if was it Shane's. I don't know, but I played Shane in that tournament. I remember.
Oh,
so
okay.
But that one didn't finish like most other Fusion tournaments.
I'm kind of curious. Yes. What was a Shane tournament like for you? Like the first time, was there a lot of hype over it? Was there a lot of people that were viewing?
How long ago was that?
That was probably like, I feel like it was maybe end of 2017 or something like that would make sense.
Yeah. Or was Shane hosting it along with somebody else? Like, were they doing commentaries?
Grief was doing commentaries. I remember that.
Oh, okay.
Because we'd be in the party with him. Like I remember I was playing Shane on Nintendo, and I'd be in the party with Grief, and he's just freaking the fuck out the whole time, and it just doesn't help.
I remember that. Good times.
Before we continue on to Fusion Farewell, did you just want to talk about your favorite track run?
Yeah, I kind of have two now that I think about it.
Okay, yeah, we can switch it up to the next one.
The first one, which is on screen, is Malik's Oblique Zero because of how inconsistent the track is and how impressive it was at the time. I think that's probably my favorite in Fusion. And then the other one, I can't remember the track name. It might be Ultimate. It's a PEX Zero of a track where it like has all the techniques in the game, kind of.
Okay.
I don't know if I forget what it's called. Someone might know in the chat.
Well, Ultimate I thought that was the individual CPs for like, was it Ragnarok or something like that? Ultima 7 or something?
Yeah, I don't remember. It's not that.
Yeah.
But here, actually, let me try and find it.
I forgot the name.
Universal, yeah, that's what.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Universal.
Plop's in the chat, but he ain't in this.
Jacob, what? Is Jacob in there? Sorry.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, if RJ, if people are saying stuff in the chat, please enlighten me, because I have pretty much the Google Doc and like the YouTube stuff up right now. If there's any like really standout questions, please share them forth. But I love this track. This is a really good pick in my opinion too, RJ. We're gonna get to the part where you have to hit the most insane front wheel bounce. That's like probably one of the most inconsistent things I ever witnessed at the time. It's not that bad anymore, but like when I think it's on this CP. So at the top of this, yeah, you have to set up this hop in between these two bombs, and I just remember face planting for literally. I'm pretty sure I timed out a couple times when I first tried this, and then of course a crazy slide to finish it off at the very end to like finish it all off. Man,
What a run.
what a job done by Malik. Now, was Malik, was he one to get I don't know, to be kind of at the forefront of getting a lot of level 4s zeroed? Was he like one of the starting, I don't know, people to do that? Or was there like a pretty good mix?
I mean, it was him and probably Pex, if I had to guess. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, maybe Shane. But I know Malik kind of took over when it came to 5s and 6s. Like, he was the first to do those.
What
Yeah.
was the first 5 he did? I forgot.
Dome 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's not even an easy one either. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's a pretty crazy
Scott
one.
did it too these days.
Yeah.
Can you throw up Universal by Pex?
Yeah.
If you haven't. I remember this run was so crazy, like, and it shows how amazing Pex was compared to everyone else at the time. Lolzman was playing the track, and Lolzman's not even a bad player, and like at the time, definitely not a bad player. And he timed out on the track, and he was just like, "Wow, I timed out on a track that Pex zeroed," and that kind of showed me.
It really puts
how
it into
good that run
perspective,
was.
dude. It does. And I remember that GT4 also got a zero fault on this track, and there were some extra style points added on to GT4's run that really impressed me. This track has FMX enabled, and he did an FMX trick and I'm pretty sure he almost failed, like, on literally the last, like, obstacle. Like, it almost ran into it. It looked really cool, though.
You gotta disable that when you're uploading your track, or else he'll just use it to his advantage.
Yeah.
That's how he zeroed it.
Exactly.
Wouldn't have done it without the FMX.
Remember when FMX actually helped?
Yeah.
Would like give you
Coughing
momentum
while you're throttling.
I never really knew about the whole FMX, like, giving momentum, but I did see that happen on one of the Panda tracks, I think. I forgot which one it was, but like at the very end there's like not the elevator, but it's like the fan that launches you up. If you did the FMX trick appropriately, you just land like instantly and go. That was one of the craziest things.
I remember seeing that as well.
But this PEX run, was this a pretty standout one just because this level incorporates so many different techniques that it really shows PEX's ability
just how consistent he was
to be that consistent with all of
everything.
it. Yeah, everything for it. Yeah.
I mean, I even struggled on this track when it came out, I remember. And I definitely wasn't one of the top players at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
And he got it so quick. Like it was like immediately. It was like the day of.
Dude, it's because
I timed out on the front wheel section.
He's got the Rayman rider on, man. It's all about that Rayman rider. One of my favorites. There. Well, let's go back to the Fusion Farewell Tournament. Let's keep jumping back and forth between these. What was your favorite part about it, RJ?
I liked that everyone played the same track. I like that it was predetermined and
have practice time and feel like that we could really show our true potential for it each track.
Yeah, that too. Like I just think it was the format of the tournament was my favorite out of any tournament I've played and seen. And overall the tournament just worked out better than any other tournament for sure. No question.
Yeah. Yeah, Blix, Colorado, Santa, Riders. Derek was a part of kind of deliberating and getting the tournament set up. Unfortunately, he was not able to host because of some other, situations that come up with work. But am I missing anybody? Who else was like the main?
It was organized really well too. I think that's what made it stand out more than other tournaments that I've seen. Felt more professional for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
The casting, really funny. I think those guys did a really good job. It sounded like it was, just a regular, radio/talk show, kind of describing players that they like, players that they, have seen on streams multiple times, even players that they didn't really know about, and being able to see them for the first time. I think is a really cool experience for the whole, you know, community to realize just how many talented riders that we do have, and to celebrate it together.
I like the idea of separating players into tiers so that they rewarded lower level players for still performing really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that more, and that might be happening soon. There might be one more tournament in Fusion. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Well, haven't they been doing Liquicity's tournament? Did that one? I think that one just concluded. I believe.
Yeah, I think that was today. I think
Yeah.
Blix was streaming it, or he was streaming before it, and then Liquicity was streaming it.
I unfortunately I didn't catch any of it. Did you guys see any of that tournament?
I did not.
I don't even know how the layout went for it
Not
necessarily.
much. I saw a little bit of it.
How did it
Tiny
go?
bit.
How did it go, Zach? You remember?
I mean, it seemed good to me. I didn't have my volume on for most of it, if I'm honest, but it seemed pretty good.
Did they have people casting? And
I think it was just Liquidity.
it was
That
just
was it.
Liquidity for it? Okay.
Yeah. And he did a good job from what I heard, so.
Nice. I think the more exposure that we have with this tournament, the better. But having this Fusion Farewell one, this one was so well organized. I want to see more of these, like, you know, these premeditated types of events showcased. I think this should be the standard for whatever the ninja tournaments, at least. This should definitely be a standard for it. Um,
Should do
one
something like that right off the bat on Rising, like maybe a week or two after launch. I think would be a kind of.
maybe have like, how about like a ninja percent run with, like, yeah, all of the Red Links ninjas try to go through. That'd be a really interesting, I think, format with it.
Yeah, it could be
Just
if
one,
executed well.
just one thought. But let's see, where was I going with the Fusion Farewell tournament? One of my concerns, I mean, I don't really have a lot of concerns about it. It seemed a little laggy in certain aspects of it. I know that it's really tough doing a multi-stream of all three perfectly. I would just hope for the best quality possible, if you know what I mean. I don't want to rip on it too hard, but it seemed like there was always one run out of, like, you know, the two or three people going that it just didn't seem to flow very well. It was like, I don't know, were people playing it off of uh the I don't know what it was, the PlayStation maybe, or was it Xbox that was maybe having some lag issues? Did you guys notice that as well?
I
A
didn't
little bit, yeah.
myself, but I also didn't watch a lot of that, to be honest.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was just one concern that I had. I would hope for the best quality possible in it, and like having more, I guess, real time like inputs happening would be really cool. Maybe, I don't know, were we able to show? I mean, we'll be able to show it in Rising of, like, the HUD and having the overlay of, like, your inputs while you're playing, like, in real time, will be actually really cool to be able to see that, and to have people you know, probably learn a lot off of that practice, and to
That would
see.
be nice. That's actually why I like YouTube videos that choose to leave the overlay on,
Yeah.
is because you can see the inputs. I don't really like watching videos that are basically of them playing in real time without the inputs, because I kind of like to see how they flick the stick around and whatnot.
That's weird because every time I've done a video like that, people are just like, "No, we don't like that." Like Grief told me specifically, like, take off the overlay. I was like, I used to have it on every video, and
I'd like it
honestly,
way
because
more
of
if it
him,
didn't have all the buttons on the
extra,
side, like
yeah,
the controls, and it had just the inputs. That would be significantly better, but
true.
you gotta make do with what you have, I guess. Still prefer it.
Yeah, I like it for streaming. I think it's a wonderful idea to have that HUD available. It's not mandatory, it's an option, like, while you're playing in real time, to have that.
And they have
One of the
the
coolest
track
features.
title too, right?
Yeah.
That you can show.
Yeah, and we were trying.
Where was that? Where was that written at? I don't think I've seen that myself.
Um,
That's a cool feature though. I
I
like it
I
a
didn't
lot.
see it written down everywhere, but I saw it for myself while I was doing the beta. That you were
Yeah, that's
able
sick.
to see the
That's
track
really
names.
cool.
Yeah, and that's just it's a quality of life difference. When people come into the stream, they're like, "Oh, what track is this?" And then boom, it's right there. It's gonna be in the bottom left hand corner, along with the inputs that are being done and the difficulty of the track. Now we were deliberating on whether ninja difficulties are going to be included with this list. Like, how is this going to work with Track Central? Like, I know it's easy with the name and the button inputs, but are we going to have maybe different descriptions of ninja difficulties in the corner? Like, are we just going to have, white belt, yellow belt? Just are they going to have that kind of ninja difficulty, I don't know, setting? Or can we actually put in there ninja level 5, ninja level 6, whatever ninja level, maybe in the bottom corner of it?
That'd be cool
Well,
if you
in the
could
editor,
manually input it.
it's only shown as numbers. I don't know if they would like add a graphic to it. You know how they have the DLC symbol
Mm.
on Track Central right now for tracks that have DLC. I don't know if they'd put a graphic of the color belt of the difficulty you assign to it. If you listed it as a 7, they'd make it a black belt. I don't know if they do that, but I'm fine with it staying an opinion thing. I don't really care too much for it becoming a graphical thing. I like it
Yeah,
if
it's
it's
still
your
a
opinion.
subjective, very subjective
Yeah.
thing that we've talked
And
about so many times.
yeah, speaking of opinion, I don't really like the idea of you rating your own track's difficulty before you upload it, because I think that should be the opinion of everyone else, collectively,
It should be a
instead of just your
democratic,
own opinion.
yeah, it should be a democratic
Right.
voting system that I think we've been able to work a lot more on with the Charles Reporter bot. I think
Yep.
that's something that's definitely helped with it. That a group of us
Yeah.
deliberated on a lot of baseline tracks, and it's just going back to that um,
That's
subjective
one thing I do
nature.
have to be critical about, though, is I don't like how you're forced to do that when you're uploading a track.
Mm.
Like you're forced before you can even upload it, you're forced to choose the difficulty, right? So you have to assign, okay, this is Ninja level 2, that's my opinion, which in my opinion, that's not how it should be. It should
It
be,
really
like
shouldn't.
I said, everyone else's
Especially,
opinion.
I mean, if you're making a track that you can't pass, so you don't know how hard it is.
Right, yeah. For all you coders out there.
Oh my.
Well, this is my level 8 that I'm assigning a level 8 on my own without anyone else's opinion.
Hey,
Yeah.
sorry
Gotta go over.
we got a little sidetracked. I wanted to play the video
Yeah.
as we keep talking too. Sorry, I've been having this one sit here forever. Um, this is Trav's run on Nihil. This is a Zach track.
Oh hell yeah. Great run.
This
By
Honorable
my
mention.
boy.
this is one of our
Big
honorable
shout out.
mentions. Yeah, we wanted to give a big shout out to Trav because such a great creator. Along with writer, he does it all. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But please continue. Wherever you guys were, forgot what we were even talking about. Sorry, I cut in.
Yeah, I got sidetracked myself, honestly.
I,
and
I was I was gonna say this isn't even related to what we were talking about, but if we're talking best trials moments, Trav's N bomb streams were up there.
banger streams.
Best couple streams in Fusion for sure, guaranteed.
He's an
Gotta agree.
entertaining guy. Very entertaining guy. I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been there for some of those streams. I wish I could have been around during those times. Is it?
Oh, we got a question from chat from Jacob.
Yeah, go for it.
He
Plop?
wants to confirm, yeah, he wants to confirm that you, Zach, and him are gonna make Hollow Veil 2 on Rising.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh,
I've actually thought about that. I don't know if I should keep it the same color or not, if I should move on from blue.
Go to like purple.
Yeah, blue or purple or green, one of the three. I
Oh,
don't know.
green would be sick.
I was thinking of some of those. Yeah, we'll see. I'll definitely do it, Plop. I think that'd be fun. Have to delete some of your bombs, though. Sorry in advance.
Zach, what are your thoughts on co-op builds? How amazing would it be? We talked about it with Cab of how sweet if they streamlined it so like you could build on the same track at the same time, like in real time. Dude, how
I
crazy
love
would that be?
I love the idea of that. I think it'd be really, really fun. It's just
How
the only
possible is it
downside.
though? Do that.
I mean, if you I mean, there's a game called Golf It on Steam that's an indie game, and it has a really good multiplayer editor. So, I mean, if they can do that, then I mean, Red Link surely they can. But I mean, I'm not a developer. I don't know how difficult it would be. But yeah, I think it would be sick. It'd be a lot of fun. It's just the only downside I can see for me personally is that I'm really selfish, so I don't like the idea of depending on someone else being on to build. Like here I am at 8 p.m. or something, and the other person I'm building with is out doing whatever, and then I want to build. And I guess you could alone, but that kind of defeat the purpose of it, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, I really like the idea of it. I think it's something that should exist, but that's not my priority for things that I want. I mean, it's probably number two, but it's not number one. Number one for me is, I said this several times actually, is I want better mouse and keyboard controls for the editor because I think that'd make building at least twice as fast. Probably even more
Same.
than that, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe I
I
would
think that
actually
would
learn
be
how to use a keyboard and mouse
perfect.
for the first time in my life. Maybe if that was the case, maybe I could learn how to build with it.
Yeah, it's
Be something.
anyone if that's something they do implement, and if anyone's building with a controller, then I would say you should probably get used to mouse and keyboard because I can't see any way that that doesn't become 100 times faster. It's just going to be insane how much time that saves if that's something they do choose to improve. So
It sucks though
I am
because
hoping for that.
their building team is all like based on controllers, so it'd be hard to like
Yeah.
change that. And they
Hmm.
also just don't care much about the PC version of Trials.
Yeah, and another thing I was
Overclocked it.
thinking about actually is how much money and development time is wasted by not making that a
Yeah,
priority. Like how much time did they waste building those tracks that could have been more efficient
they
if
could
they
make
had
more
trained,
tracks.
yeah, if they had trained their employees to build with controllers, or not controllers, keyboards. Slice it in half, save more money in development time. Just seems like an all-around beneficial thing to do, but yeah, sidetracked again. I'll
You
shut up.
should be
No,
the
no. Let's keep
project
getting
manager.
sidetracked, man. That's the whole point of this podcast. Please speak your mind.
Yeah, I know I'm just messing, but yeah, I really would do wish that that's a thing. I do hope that that's a thing they prioritize because, yeah, that would I mean, just imagine a 150-hour track, something you put all of your time, all of your effort into. Just imagine slicing that in half down to 75. That would be amazing. I would love it. And not only that, I think it's more fun to build with a keyboard too than a controller.
Hey,
So,
going back to the whole tournament talk, I just wanted to give a shout out to all those guys again that hosted the entire thing, and I wanted to share. There is a what is it? There's a YouTube channel that was just created. It is called Trials Tournaments, um, and it's basically showing all the highlights. It's showing all the runs and has all the commentary and all that stuff. And I highly encourage you guys, if you have not seen any of the runs yet, go check out Trials Tournaments on YouTube. Um, and yeah, I imagine that a lot more runs and tournaments will be uploaded to that in the near future whenever we get to that. I think a really funny idea. I would love to host a tournament. It'd be just a goofy, casual one, where we would play tracks, but you're only allowed to do it with the rabbit, the donkey, or the unicorn, or whatever the new tracks are. The not the new
throw
tracks.
personal hell in there.
Yeah, personal
Other
hell.
tracks.
We're gonna make a new personal hell for yeah, Trials Rising. And yeah, I don't know. There could be so many different avenues that we take with these tournaments, and um, make speedrunning tournaments, ninjas, goofy ones with whatever bike you can imagine. Um, and yeah, I think we're ready to move on to one of the other main. Actually, no, sorry, I'll overjump that. That reminds me, talking about all these different vehicles and stuff. So there's a question from Caveman Dave that I forgot to get to actually last time that I wanted to bring forth. What tracks, or sorry, God, I keep saying tracks. What new bikes would you like to see in Trials Rising? Dave was emphasizing that he would love to see a unicycle or a penny farthing, if I'm saying that one right. You guys,
I'm not too sure what the second one is, but
Yeah,
I
I
think a
don't know what that is
unicycle would be interesting. But
a penny
it would have
farthing.
to have
Oh,
some
on the
sort of brake
unicycle.
system.
A penny farthing
'cause-
is the one that has the gigantic wheel in front and then the really tiny one in
Oh,
the
God.
back. So that's
That'd be
a
sick.
penny farthing, and you're
That'd be
seated up,
fucking awful.
way up on this bike.
Front wheel god.
Yeah, make a front wheel
It's like-
god with a penny farthing would be incredible to see. Um, and then a unicycle, like I've thought about, somebody making a track where literally your back wheel falls off, like at the beginning of each checkpoint, and you have to go through it. Or excuse me, your front wheel falls off at the beginning, and you have to go through it with only the back tire the entire time. Would be really interesting. But the problem is in Fusion is like the physics just get all screwed up, and like the
Yeah.
balance of the bike, it
Right,
just
yeah.
doesn't work. So I hope that it could be something that we could do, like where you can actually balance on your back wheel with no wheel on the front would be actually really cool. And I thought of another one, motorized scooter, possibly being
that'd be all right. Yeah.
being something
That
that
wouldn't
we
be too
could
bad.
we could drive. I think that would be really funny. Just just to mix it up, maybe make it a DLC or something instead of a unicorn. I think I'd rather have a scooter. But
If they did do a unicycle, it would
Oh.
definitely have to have some kind of braking system.
Mm.
Because, imagine if you're balancing on your front wheel with no brake, it's going to slip out from under you immediately. So
yeah, that'd be pretty.
definitely have to have like a brake cable on one of your rider's hands or something with a little tube that goes down to it or something stupid like that.
Yeah,
I got a suggestion. I want you to throw it up on stream if possible. I'll copy the link.
get a picture of it.
Yeah. Let's see.
There's also something I do want to say about adding new bikes after launch.
Oh crap!
Is
don't
a
click
lot
it.
of people have been talking about adding a ninja bike or something like that at a later
Yeah.
date, and I was just thinking there's how much that would ruin the game, because you'd have, say you released it 2 months after launch, right? You have all these tracks that are designed specifically for the Mantis, and then you have a bike that is designed to do it better that it gets thrown in, right? So you have all these tracks that are I just don't like the idea of it. I'm opposed to it, to be honest. Don't like the thought of that.
RJ, did you post something to the Discord or in
Yeah.
the? I
don't know if you could.
Unfortunately, I can't really look at it because I have the
Oh yeah,
like
that'd be a banger.
the thing in the background. If you could, what is it, Zach? If you could describe it,
Hold on.
is that possible?
Wait.
Or is that gonna give
It's
it away?
Randy Marsh.
Oh,
Here,
I think I
I'm
know.
I'm gonna link you it, and then just like you can minimize your full screen and just click it, and then go back to full screen. It won't mess up your cropping or anything.
Yeah, I agree with Scott. I think it'd make too much of a separation. I'm fine with just the Mantis, honestly, and I actually like that it's different because I don't want to be playing the same game for
Oh, I can just bring it up
like
on a new
4
tab.
years plus the same game consecutively. I want it to feel different, just as a fresh experience. So I'm glad the Mantis is different, and it's
Weird.
not even that different. It's just
I
different
could've linked
enough.
it in chat too. That would have been a good way to do it.
I like it.
Can you just put it in the chat instead for it? So apparently I have to sign back in the Discord for one of these tabs instead of the app, so I'm not just do that. South Park Studios image. So it's oh my god, I do remember it's the
It'd make a good bike.
it's the self-automated one where you get railed and blown at the same time.
It'd be like that Evo skill game where you're trapped in the metal ball and you have to roll it.
Yeah.
For a second, RJ, I thought you were gonna have Randy Marsh bouncing on his own ball sack become one of the only the other DLC types of bikes you could get. But nah, that probably wouldn't be friendly. Rated T, I think. I think it's a bit
And
much
I'd
for
bump
that.
it up to an M.
Yeah, I think it would.
Bump it up to AO.
It'd bump it up just a tiny bit. Funny idea,
The Mantis
though.
might be tweaked by now. Never know.
Probably.
Probably not, though. It'll probably be really, really minuscule, even if they did. Couple subtle changes.
Next thing I wanted to talk about you guys, was the Speedrun God, Pro, and GOAT. That was something that I wanted to talk about for a little bit here. Really love this.
Love it.
Really love this idea for a track. This is a completely different type of track than we've ever seen before. Shout outs to Fukin Mina, Mr. Fook, as I like to call him. Really interesting idea. And you know me, I'm not really a big fan of speedrunning, but by golly, this track makes me want to speedrun more. And would you guys? So there was a little controversy with, what do you consider this track? Is this a ninja track, or is this a speedrun track, or is this it's in its own category?
Absolutely not a ninja track.
Okay.
137,000%.
Okay.
I don't know who suggested it on. I don't know if it was. I think it was Lorcan's commentary because he named it a ninja level 6.
Yeah, he did.
Someone said
I wish I was
there
serious.
should be speedrun levels, speedrun level 1, speedrun level 2, and this track should be like a normal thing. Like people should make tracks like these way more frequently, because I think the idea of this track and the way at least he did it was like perfect, almost perfect. I passed God, and it was like the first time of me actually trying to speedrun, and like it was hella enjoyable.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I want to go just into some easier like Ninja 1, Ninja 2 tracks and just try to speedrun now with these techniques that I learned and tried to perfect, not really perfected, from Speedrun Pro, because I barely passed the Pro version. And I was still really proud of that because it was a challenge for me, because I just haven't really practiced ever doing like those types of squishies and slides and momentum shift and whatnot. It's a different feel to it, and I agree that it deserves its own category.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it deserves. It needs to be in its own section. This is something that we've never seen before, and it gave me a really interesting idea. And I talked about this on stream, I think a week ago. But what if we were able to incorporate a HUD into these tracks, like a legitimate speedrunner on Twitch, like how they have the overlays, how they have the split times for specific sections on, you know, Ocarina of Time for Legend of Zelda. Like, what if we were able to do these really cool HUDs for like splitting times? I know
I've seen people do it on Ninja Percent, haven't they?
Yeah,
Scott's
people have done that for Ninja Percent. That's the exact same thing. As like I would love to see maybe something incorporated like that. Would be really cool just to see how much you are improving on specific checkpoints. I love to see the details of that. What do you guys think, having that HUD?
I'm kind of having trouble picturing what you're describing exactly, to be honest.
So you ever seen Games Done Quick, or like AGDQ? That whole thing where they have, you know, speedrunners go in and they'll play, let's say, Halo 2, and they're gonna speed through the game on legendary difficulty as fast as they possibly can. They're going to have split times for each mission that they do over on like the left, I think it's on the left hand side. Or maybe not for AGDQ, sorry, I might be mixing that up. With general speedrun streams, they will have like a specific, like an entire column basically on one, like, I don't know, maybe split into like a fourth of like the entire screen, and it'll show the split times for each section, whatever they want to call it. I think that could be the same thing, be a little more detailed than the version that we have it now. I don't think they'll be doing that, but it's just an interesting idea to like get more involved with speedrunning and seeing the times a little more.
That's more or less what it already does, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it shows the split times after each checkpoint, but if you like, it doesn't say like when, or it doesn't hold the time necessarily of like each time afterwards. Like, it'd be cool if it just like kept track of each checkpoint and seeing how much difference in each one that you made, and not just keep track of the one that you just did, if that makes any sense. I don't know
so
if
individually. Okay, I
Josh,
gotcha.
you should show Nova's video on stream.
Oh
He
yeah,
has
I should.
splits in his video
What are your
itself.
thoughts, Cabbage? Let us know. give us the feedback. Can.
Yeah, let me find this list. But what is speedrunning? What do you guys imagine speedrunning like for yourself? Do you guys like to watch? Because I became
I
a
can't
really big
stand it, to be honest.
I
I
became a
just
pretty
can't
big
stand it.
fan, dude, of the AGDQ. I think it's for a really good cause and everything too. I love it.
I like speedruns of full games, but when it comes to like doing a medium track 1,000 times in a row, just hoping for a slide to work, I mean, I suck at it. That's probably why I don't like it, but I hate it.
You said
I just can't
you
stand
said
it.
I don't
speedrun
like
god,
watching
right?
career tracks
Zero
a lot.
faults. Speedrun god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I much prefer like when Nova like uploads videos of the custom tracks that people don't probably know and haven't like grinded for 4 years.
Yeah, that could be fun to watch. It's just I don't know, the thought of doing it myself is just like no. No thanks.
Well, that's cool. I haven't seen this video before, so he keeps track of the time himself after each time that
Yeah.
that he's beating the checkpoints. That's cool. We'll touch that. Nice job on that, Nova. How hard is speedrun goat? Does anybody tried that out yet?
Blubby struggled with it and he's pretty godly.
Yeah, he is one of the
Marble
best.
passed I know as well.
Mm.
I don't know what his thoughts were on it, but I've never tried it. I couldn't do it, so barely could do God. So
What I do like about that track is how it basically made a new genre, and I think it set a really good example for future ones that are made because of how well it was made.
yeah,
So I do like that.
Yeah,
I think this type of track should be a thing. Like it's super fun to play, and it's definitely different than anything else we've been playing for the last 5 years.
yeah.
Yeah, it kind of sets a standard for people who do it in the future to take an
Yeah.
example from,
Dude,
instead of just having like the idea executed shittily, you know?
Nova got this down so well, dude. This is incredible. My gosh, so smooth. Speed runner, man. And it took Mr. Fook quite a long time.
Months.
And I also kind of agree with what Scott's saying is that it doesn't need to be assigned a level, right? Speedrun level X. It really doesn't. Like I don't see why it can't just be its own thing, right? So you upload a track that's easier than Speedrun Goat, like let that just be its own thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be categorized into a difficulty, you know? It
But
could
I
just be a standard track. You don't have to compare it to anything.
but I like the idea of putting associating ninja levels to stuff. Why shouldn't we do that with speedrunning as well? Like if this is a totally new category, ninja levels are nice for people to strive for something, in my opinion. People want to know that this track is of a certain caliber so they can, you know, reach a certain level in their own opinion, in their subjective opinion about ninja tracks and what they really stand for. Don't you think that this should be considered, it's their own
Yeah, you're right, Cabbage. There are a
kinds of
lot of
difficulties?
ninja obstacles in there. I see a lot of them, so.
Yeah, it's perfecting squishies, slides, getting the right break times, slide. Yeah, dude, it's a culmination of I forgot who was saying this to me. I don't know if it was maybe Blub said it in the chat, but he was saying it's like getting a perfect run on, say, a medium track in career. This is what this track pretty much comes down to. I don't know if I'm quoting him perfectly on that, but I just remember I'm pretty sure it was Blub saying something that what
Just need a bigger frame of reference, I think. Like, people need to release more of them, and then you can have more things to compare it to. So,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it too.
hard to say right now with there only being like 2 tracks of its kind, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
big track, man.
And
Big
it's
track.
also, you gotta keep in mind, like, it's nothing to, like, get all controversial about because at the end of the day, like, ninja levels or whatever, they don't really exist. They're just superficial.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's all based on opinion. So you can label it however you want. It's still just an opinion. So,
I feel you on that. Should we move on to another topic, or you guys got anything else to praise or criticize about Speedrun track by Fukin Mana?
I think it's cool. That's my criticism.
I think
like
it's
it.
really cool. Really hard. Hard to get
I
into
don't
if you don't
speedrun
speedrun.
myself, but
It's hard.
I think it's a sick idea. I like the originality of it,
Yeah, me
which
too.
is really hard to pull off like 4 years into the lifespan.
Yeah, this far down
6
the road.
or more if you count the previous game. So
Yeah, man. Any final thoughts on it, RJ?
No.
Nope. We're gonna leave it at that. One of the final topics that wanted to discuss with you guys. This is actually something that Scott posted. It was called Revitalizing the Multiplayer System. I'm just gonna read what he said, and then we can discuss it a little bit more in depth. We all know how the multiplayer system works at the moment. A random track gets picked, and you get just one race between the other riders. However, I think there's a better way to make multiplayer and trial series a lot more engaging and enjoyable. The idea is to have a... So I'm not entirely certain on this vocabulary for it. He called it a dedi style system. I don't know if that means a dedicated style system. Does anybody know?
Deddy.
A dedi style system.
I don't know what that is.
Whereas normal, a random track gets picked, but instead of a single race between everyone, you all complete with a X amount of minutes, and try to get the best run that you can. So this reminded me of the one thing that me and Jacob were doing, me and Plop, when we were practicing, or they were trying to incorporate this new style for the Fusion Farewell tournament. We ended up doing some really weird tracks, and we said, or that, Colorado was basically saying to us, okay, you get 30 minutes to try and beat this track. If you beat it, you can keep your time, and you can be happy however you did on that first run. Or you can do another run. Within, you have to take into account how much more time do you have on this track, and try to get a better run. And I love this idea because this will be able to showcase a lot more consistency, and to show how much people are able to improve. I think doing this type of a system where you get a 30-minute timer. Now, maybe one of the problems that you'd run into is that people just want to like come and go like really quickly in a multiplayer matches. Maybe they like that OG style where you get, you're one and done, something like that. This could be a different like menu option for multiplayer. I think that would be really cool. But let me keep. I stopped about halfway in the middle of this comment. So this system is used predominantly in the Trackmania series, and I think that it'd be a very welcome addition and improvement to the current system. Scott thinks it'd be a lot more enjoyable to have the chance to have a few runs at a track instead of only getting one chance to prove yourself. He's not saying that the current system is bad, it's just becoming a bit stale over time. And it's difficult to get a populated match compared to the amount of players that play the game on a daily basis. What are you guys' thoughts on this new, I don't know, dedicated style system? I don't know what the proper terminology is necessarily, but
I think that's a pretty good idea, because I think because of the nature of trials, it'd be more of a showcase of someone's skill to have several runs on a track instead of just one, like 3 maybe, best of 3, something like that. Because one can be kind of dodgy when it comes to flukes and whatnot,
it can be,
for lack of a better word.
Josh, can you link me that's Reddit post or whatever, or forum post, wherever he made that?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, let me.
Also, one thing I liked about Evo's multiplayer more than Fusion's was that it was categorized into 2 different difficulties, because they had hard and extreme tracks in one category, and they had easier tracks in another category. So if you wanted to play more technical stuff, you could check extreme. and vice versa. So I like the thought of that, or even adding ninjas to multiplayer could be fun too. Because
Scott
I've
got
never really played multiplayer myself, but I think that'd be pretty fun if they did.
Did Scott post it? Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
And also user tracks too. That'd be fun. I don't play multiplayer like I said, so if they did add that, then you can correct me. But I think if they added that, that'd be sweet.
Well, going back to a couple of podcasts ago, we talked about Trials Royale, and that was, that's the same thing of like, okay, you're one and done on this type of track, but this track has randomly generated obstacles. Just completely different obstacles every single time you go into it, like a randomly generated dungeon. And you start off on, beginner type of obstacles, and then you progressively work up all the way until extreme, into ninjas, and you only get one chance. Like if you fall, you're out. And this type of style, like there could be so many different avenues that we can go on with multiplayer to really invigorate it. And that was by Jamesy, and I think some other people were talking about it a long time ago. And I love that idea so much, to randomly generate a track where 16 people all riding, I don't know, however many people that they can fit on the screen at the same time are all riding at the same time. And of course they're all gonna ride on the same obstacles, but like each time you go into these into the Trials Royale, there's thousands of different options, hundreds of thousands.
So it'd be like
options.
infinite trials, right?
Yes, it would be infinite trials basically.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I like that idea a lot.
It would be hard for implementing. Like, I mean, they didn't even get infinite trials right.
Yeah, that track sucks.
It's broken, and it's a lot of the same obstacles over and over. I mean, it's definitely pretty good for how they had to do it. It would be really hard to do it where it like increases in difficulty all the way through ninjas and still have it work.
That would take a lot of refining.
The code, to do that, the logic is insane on that.
Yeah.
But it's something to work on, you guys. If somebody please try to make a skill game. Try your hardest to make a skill game that's like infinite trials, where where you can put it in a multiplayer session.
Get swell on it.
Incredible.
Yeah, because I love endurance tracks, really long tracks, especially hill climb skill games. So to have that randomly generated, so it's a new experience every time, and playing it with other people, that's probably the most fun thing I can think of as far as riding in trials would be, at least for me. That'd be a lot of fun.
Now, how about I thought of another multiplayer option. What if we could do like a 4-player co-op experience, like you can in, say, Super Mario Bros., where all 4 of you on the screen, like, you're on the same line. Like you can run into each other and mess with each other, like on the same driving line. How crazy would that be? Could that be another possibility? Would that work ever in the trial series?
Ball collision. I don't know how many people here have played golf with your friends, but you can turn on ball collision and you can hit each other's balls around. Game. No pun intended, but
yeah,
it's really annoying and it's hilarious. So
oops. My
lost entirely.
Whoa, my thing just reset on me. Sorry guys. What happened there? Whoopsies. Oh, RJ's by himself now. There we go. Not sure what happened there. Sorry about that. My computer had a slight aneurysm. But
just an aneurysm.
just a slight.
No worries.
It's a slight one there. Yeah, any other multiplayer ideas that you guys could think of to like
I got one.
A zombies game type for for trials. How about that?
One I've been thinking of for a long time, and I mean, you can tell me if it's a shit idea because I actually haven't thought it through very much, but I was thinking that if you could just play multiplayer with someone on the same bike, not like physically on the same bike, but you would alternate every fault or every checkpoint pass.
Yeah.
Like you could, like say you had an 8 checkpoint track, you pass one checkpoint, then your friend passes the next, or you could set it to faults. So if one person falls, then you switch to the next person, and then you just alternate back and forth. Kind of like classic Super Mario World multiplayer back in the day, where one person's Mario and one's Luigi, but you never play at the same time. You just alternate on death, pretty much.
Mhm.
I mean, that sounds pretty fun to me. That might sound boring.
No,
but
I think
It's
that's a
like
great idea too.
tandem, but in a different
I think
sense.
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah,
I like
and it'd
that
be
idea.
easy to implement too. I feel like, because you wouldn't need to model any new bikes and whatnot.
Relay mode, yeah. That's what it would be called.
I think that'd be fun, personally.
You guys in the
Just
chat try to come up with a lot
a
more.
person.
Come up with a
If
lot
they
more
fuck up
ideas,
on a
man.
zero.
Be really cool. We can try to add some skill games. Try to do some multiplayer types of skill games. How about just being able to add skill games and track central to like public multiplayer? Wouldn't that be?
That,
Can
yeah,
that be an option too?
they should do that.
I think that's a really good idea too.
Yeah,
Being
that
able
seems like a good next step.
skill
what they
games.
did.
Like I don't understand why the skill games on there yet. Maybe there could be you can have the whole list of stuff you could do. At the top, there's Trials Royale. The next step, the next one is just regular multiplayer, one and done session. You do the Dedi system for a third option. You could do track central tracks, like community recommended ones would be the only ones that would be on there, like the highest picked ones.
They do need
And
more exposure for
yeah,
skill games too, because
games.
people, I mean, they generally take more work than a regular trials track, and they die out pretty quick on average. Because you see people put hundreds of hours into skill games, and you look and they only have like 60 downloads. So I do think that if they had some way to get them out there into the public, then that'd be better. Because yeah, like I said, more effort, less publicity. So I mean, I suck at making them myself. I'm just speaking for other people, like Cabbage, for example.
Yeah, they don't care about skill games. True.
Well,
Kinda.
you guys, I think we are ready to conclude this episode. I think we're coming to a nice stopping point here. Really enjoyed the time you're able to give us, Zach. Really appreciate that. I got one more question for us to kind of
Appreciate you
leave
having
us.
me.
We want to leave this on a really good note. This is a memorial to Fusion. In memoriam. Fusion was such a, I don't know. It was a really influential game for myself. I felt like I was able to grow as just a human being in general, being a part of this community, and I want to thank everybody for that. And that's my favorite moments on Fusion would have to be grinding out and struggling on tracks for extended amounts of time and just having that type of gratification. There's no other game like it. This game is one of the hardest games, if not the hardest game to get good at out there. So, thank you, Trials Fusion, for being a part of my life. It really has shaped me and able to meet a lot of amazing people. How about you guys? Favorite moments or just an overall like synopsis of Trials for you, Trials Fusion?
Well, I mean, I've always liked making stuff, and I'd never really had a way to share it beforehand. I'd draw stuff here and there, and I'd share it with my family or whatever. But I think that Trials has really given me an outlet to be creative,
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
uploading all the stuff I've done over years and seeing people work hard to pass it, like Trav grinding Ascension back in the day, still my favorite stream of all time when he worked on passing that. And seeing him finally do it really kind of set in stone how much I enjoyed building stuff. And yeah, that combined with the creative aspect of it is just, I don't know, it's something special. There's really nothing else like it. So, not to pander too much, but yeah, to everyone who's played my tracks, I really appreciate it. And I plan on making more. So, yeah.
I sure hope you do. If you don't make any more tracks, I'm gonna find you, Zach, and I'm gonna tie you to the radiator until you make one. Okay?
Oh, you can do it anyway, even if I do. Make it.
Okay. You got my number.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
I don't know what to say. I guess This is probably, I think Trials has been the only, maybe not the only, but the best community I've been a part of, to where I actually know a lot of the people very personally, and I've never dealt with that before. I think that's probably why I'm still a part of it, because it's just, there's nothing like it. I've made some really good friends through this community, and I hope that continues going forward.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of new, fresh faces that we as a community, you know, must take in under our wing. It's everyone's job to definitely give as much support as they can, and to give a lot of critical feedback to people, you know, that are maybe just starting off building for the first time, that are getting into speedrunning, that want to improve as ninjas in general. Like there's endless content to this game, and we are the ones that will be trying to provide that for all the,
be
all the
welcoming.
people. Yes, be very welcoming, everybody. Be the best, you know, the community that I know that you are. That's very supportive. But yes, thank you all so much for being here, you guys. I really appreciate it. Zach, thank you for coming on. RJ, of course.
You got it. You got it. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
RJ's very good voice in the community. Unfortunately, you know, we didn't have Jacob or Lorcan here today, but you know, big shout outs to them for always helping out in the community.
Enough ways to make it work.
Yeah,
just enough.
But we're gonna keep on keeping on with this podcast, and next time you see us, we're gonna have a lot of different topics talking about Trials Rising, man. I'm really excited to see what we're capable of doing the next one. So, peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and yeah, keep it nutty.
Keep it.
See you guys.
See ya.